Hello? How are you guys doing? I have my hat on, but I'm just gonna leave it off, you guys, because it's kind of hurting my head tonight. I don't know why. Oh shoot. Just dropped the cap to, I don't know where it is to my stuff. Sometimes when I wear a hat, it hurts. Like if I wear a hat all day. And I took a shower and did my hair earlier, before my videos. Oh, that stuff, I always forget how good this stuff smells. So this Mrs. Meyer's, they have fall scents out. I talked about this. They have apple cider and they have mums. I got some of the apple cider stuff. I got the hand soap, which I haven't started using yet. I'm gonna use it like next month. But I have started using the all-purpose cleaner and like for the kitchen, and the whole kitchen smells like apple cider. I might go over there tonight to Meijer and buy some stuff. I went to the grocery store earlier. Are you ready? I spent $75 tonight at the grocery store, which for me is a lot of money. Alex is going out of town, so I was like, I just want to kind of have a totally unhealthy, so we're not going to even talk about the diet tonight, but I was like, I want to have some treats around the house, so I got like bagels and cream cheese, and then like a big red onion. I cut the onion up, like a big slab of it, and then and then I got like garlic jack cheese slices to make a sandwich, and then I got potato salad and chips and Gouda cheese. What else did I get? I got cinnamon rolls. Oh my god, these delicious cinnamon rolls. I had one of them tonight for dessert. And they were so absolutely fantastic. And I was just like, oh my god. I watched the Real Housewives of New York reunion. I'm halfway through the second part of it. And Alex got Chipotle and he sat there and watched it with me. And then, what else did I get? I got... Alex wanted Pop-Tarts, so he wanted strawberry Pop-Tarts, which we never get Pop-Tarts. I don't think in 10 years we've ever had Pop-Tarts in our house. So I got him strawberry Pop-Tarts, I got strawberry milkshake Pop-Tarts, and then he wanted Fruit Loops, so I got him Fruit Loops. And I was like, in 10 years, Alex, I said, I don't think that I have ever known you to want Fruit Loops. And he's like, I love Fruit Loops. I was like, you do? I don't know where that cap went. I'll have to look later when I go through it. He's like, I love Fruit Loops. He's like, I like to put them in just like little baggies and take them with me to work in the morning. I was like, okay. So I got him some Fruit Loops. Oh, and then I got a bag of dog food, hard dog food. And I got some dog treats, because dog treats were on sale at the grocery store. So yeah. $75. Now, I know that that is not a lot for people, and I'm trying to be like, okay, I got the dog treats, so that was like $5, and then the food was like $11, so what would that be, like, you know, $60 I spent on groceries of just absolute junk. But I probably won't go out and eat or anything the next couple days, so that's like 3 days of meals. So that's typically what I would, you know, spend on meals, so that's okay. I had a good day today. I got up and I met a friend of mine for coffee at like 10:30. I was running late this morning because I have such a hard time getting up. And we had a really good coffee, we had fun, and but I only had like just like 1 cup of coffee there, and so then I went to Starbucks after that, and I got my venti iced coffee, and then I came home, and I took a shower, and I filmed my videos right away. I got them done really early today, and then, I went to the library. I hadn't been to the library in forever. And I wanted to get this book to read this weekend, or to start it this weekend. It's by Jerry Spinelli, who wrote Stargirl, and he's like one of my favorite like middle grade writers, and it's called The Warden's Daughter. I did a whole video, and I read the synopsis and everything on my BookTube channel. I did like a whole like little library book haul. So you can go over there and check that out. Where are my sunglasses that I have the case, but I don't, so yeah, I did that. I went to the library. It was fun. I haven't been to the library in a long time. I love going to the library. Did that, and then when Alex got home, he came home a little early from work tonight. We ate together and watched Real Housewives of New York. He has like no shows left. So, and then after that, he was like packing because he's going to Chicago tomorrow. So I said I was gonna lay down for just a little bit, and I ended up sleeping till like 10:45. I crashed out. Last night, I could not go. When I finished my vlog last night, I went home. I was like wide awake, and I just couldn't go back to sleep. So, I was up to like 6:30, just in bed, tossing and turning with the dogs. I was like actually talking to Boo Radley. Do you guys do that? Do you ever talk to your dog? I was like laying in bed and he was like all curled up in his little circle, and I go, Boo Radley, are we gonna have such a fun weekend this weekend? And then PP would come up and he wanted to find out what was going on. And so yeah, so Alex is leaving tomorrow to go to Chicago. He was supposed to leave at 1, but one of his friends doesn't get off work until like 2:30. He's going with 2 girls that he's friends with. They went last year too. It's a music festival. I think it's called North Coast. And so they're leaving and they're going up there, staying tomorrow night, Saturday night. The festival is, I think it's tomorrow night, all day Saturday and Saturday night, and then Sunday. And then he is coming back Sunday night because he has to work on Monday. He's coming back after the festival on Sunday night. And then he's back in town and he's here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday he leaves to take a bus, or I'll probably take him to the bus, to go to Nashville, Tennessee, because he's going to go visit his friend. This is her trip back here from LA. This is his best friend, Sarah. She'll probably be in some of my vlogs now that she's back. She said she wanted to be in some before, and I haven't put her in any. I don't think I've ever put her in a vlog before. But anyway, she's hilarious. They're so funny together. Their humor can be a little annoying together because they were like friends in high school. So it's like some of those kind of like inside jokes that you don't really know much about. And they do like voices and stuff like that. And they're like, OMG. And they like carry it out forever and stuff. But I mean, you know, you have those things with your friends that you've been friends with forever, you know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, there's that, and he was gonna drive there with his other friend. There's like 3 of them that were like best friends in high school, Sarah and Alex and this other girl, and she can't go now. And so I told Alex, I said, why don't you just check the flights? And it's like $300 or $400 one way to fly to Nashville. And he's like, that's ridiculous. I'm not doing that. He goes, it's $20 to take a bus. And I was like, you don't care? And he's like, no, I'll just listen to music and do work the whole time on the bus. I was like, okay. And he was like, the buses are supposedly pretty nice. So I was like, he doesn't care about stuff like that. Like Alex really doesn't. So I'm like, all right. He's like, I'd rather spend $20 than spend $400 for a flight. You know, I'll save all that money. And then they got like a really nice Airbnb in Nashville. So he's super excited about that. He's never been to Nashville. I went to Nashville years and years ago when I was still drinking. I went with 2 of my friends. And, well, my one friend that I went with, who is a female impersonator, she lives there now, I think, in Nashville. I haven't talked to her in probably 20 years, Austria Andrews. And, but she and my friend Jim and I, she had a show at the Connection in Louisville, and then a show at the Connection in Nashville. It's like Friday night and then Saturday night. So we went there, and while she was like getting ready all day that day, like at the club, Jim and I went to the Jack Daniels distillery, and I remember I was like so excited because I thought they were going to because I was a Jack Daniels drinker, and I thought they were going to give us all this free Jack Daniels, and they didn't give us like really any. You had to like buy a shot at the end or something like that. But Nashville's a beautiful city. I'd like to go back there now sober. Tanya goes back there with friends, you know, like probably twice a year, and they go to like all of the little bars and hear bands and stuff. I heard it's fantastic. So, and then I was gonna see Tanya tonight, but I forgot that she was hanging out with her niece who just had a baby. So she couldn't hang out tonight. I actually didn't talk to Tanya at all today. Which is weird, when I was in Vegas, we went like 3 days without talking, and like that never, I mean, we never go more than a day or two without talking, so it's really weird that I didn't talk to her. I mean, sometimes when we're on vacation, you know, like we won't talk to each other, but I think I'm gonna pull into this McDonald's up here and get a Diet Coke. The first night that Alex is gone, I'm always kind of like a little excited because I can like, you know, play, like I can, because he goes to bed early, so I can like put a movie on late at night, you know, I can do live streams inside late at night, I can stay up, I can, you know, go to the casino and come home at like 8 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't care. He's like, well, I'm doing my thing, you know. But then the second night, I always start missing him, you know. I like being with my husband, and it's weird because we just spent like every day together, and now he's going to be gone like the next 2 weekends, which is kind of why we were talking about taking some kind of trip in October or early November. But the thing is like, if we're going to go to San Diego to visit his brother for Christmas, like that's an expensive trip too, so I just wish I had unlimited resources just to travel all the time, but unfortunately I don't, you know. BB's done really well since we've been home. He hasn't coughed, and he hasn't fought us on the medication. He hasn't been eating a whole lot, but when I talked to Tanya, she said that like the first day that we were there, or that they were at the kennel, that PP wouldn't really eat. And so Tanya, like, she was on vacation too, and so they called her and they said, what do you want us to do with PP because he won't eat? And she said, just get him some chicken and rice, go to the store, get a bunch of chicken and rice, and she said, feed him that. Well, PP is a spoiled brat. He's a little bit of a snot, and so, I mean, he's not really, he's a sweetheart, but he's used to having chicken and rice, and so I put down his canned food tonight, and he snubbed his nose at it. He didn't want any part of it. He was like, wanting chicken and rice. I know that's what it's about. So Alex was on his way home. I was like, can you just pick up some chicken and rice, please? But I got them a bag of hard food because they really like that Crave hard food. I don't know anything about it, so I don't know if it's good or bad or whatever, so don't come for me, but they love it. And it's really high in protein. So for especially like for like Boo Radley, like he like keeps his weight on that way. And they all, like, the doctor didn't want us to feed them hard food because of their teeth. But like, if they're not going to eat, they have to eat something. And I think they're just so used to years and years of eating hard food that, like, they really like hard food. So I filled the bowl up, and I mean, that bowl's empty. It went, how is this McDonald's closed again? Why do they do this to me? Why are they closing this McDonald's so early every night? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to go through here and find out what the deal is. Oh, I guess it's after midnight, isn't it? But it used to be open 24 hours. Why did they start closing this McDonald's? Oh, are they doing construction? No. Yes? No? I can't tell. Come chill with us. I would love to come chill with you, but you're closed, and I want a Diet Coke. I want those donuts that Trisha Paytas was eating in her video. I'm so over the fact that they're closed. Psh. Is there another McDonald's open this late? What else is open that I can just drive through? I don't want to have to go in somewhere. Do you ever feel like that? I mean, I wouldn't really care if I wasn't vlogging, but I'm vlogging, so I don't really want to get out of my car. All I can smell is that hand sanitizer. It smells so good. I completely forgot what I was talking about. I think I was talking about Alex being out of town for the weekend. I mean, one thing is, like, whenever, like, on weekends we're together, we always have things to do. And so it's kind of nice to like, I have no plans this weekend, okay? I have a meeting I have to go to tomorrow from 1 to 3. And then other than that, I have nothing to do the entire weekend except for make videos. And so I'm like, oh my God, I have like just the whole weekend to make videos and read and just hang out and take naps and watch TV. I'm like so into Sharp Things right now on HBO. And did I finish the second episode last night or did I just get halfway through it? I can't remember. So yeah, I'm really excited about, you know, just having a relaxing weekend. I need it. Like Vegas, as much as I loved it, I like was just go, go, go the whole time that we were there. And I only took a nap one day. It was so funny because the last day that we were there, I told Alex, I'm afraid I'm gonna turn this camera off. Hold on a second, but I'm trying to like put this thing behind there. The last night that we were there, the last day, Alex was like watching TV in bed and, or like on his computer. And I said, I'm gonna take a nap. And he was like, you haven't taken a nap the whole time that you've been here. And I was like, I took like a little bit short, like a half an hour nap before we would go out and stuff like that. But I said, I know. And I said, I love hotel rooms and I love taking naps in hotel rooms. I'm taking a nap. And I took like a 2-hour nap that last day, or an hour and a half nap. And it was so fantastic. I just love hotel rooms so much. I already miss being in the hotel room. So anyway, yeah. And then I am almost done. I may finish it tonight. It depends on what time I get done vlogging and how late I choose to stay up. But I have like 2.5 hours left of, I think like 2 hours left. I don't know how much of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And oh my God, I'm loving it. It is so good. I think it's so funny that for so long I never read these books. And now I'm like listening to them on Audible. I don't know what the difference is for me. There's something different about reading them on Audible and like, or listening to them on Audible and like reading them. Like, I don't know, and I'm like retaining more of it, but I'm so into that world of Hogwarts and, you know, Ron and Hermione and Harry. Like, the whole thing to me, I love. I want to watch the movies this weekend. That is one thing that I want to do, even if I just have them on in the background. I've already seen Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, so I want to see Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, because I want to read the book and then watch the movie after each one. But they're really good. And then my friend, I think I mentioned this last night, he started a new book club on Goodreads called the Loosely Based Book Club, I think it's called, something like that. Anyway, I talked about it in my book vlog that I did on my BookTube channel today. And I gotta get the book for that. I don't know anything about the book that we're reading for September and that, but I've got to get that book because September starts in 2 days. And I want to do like a September TBR for my BookTube channel. It's weird to think that when I was growing up, this was like the last weekend of summer, you know? The only reason it feels like the last weekend of summer to me is because everybody keeps on saying this is the last weekend of summer. Like, if the date was in July right now, like, it wouldn't feel to me like it was the last weekend of summer, if that makes any sense. So it's kind of surreal. Like, it doesn't really feel like it's the last weekend of summer, but it is. It's weird. It's Labor Day, you know? And I was thinking earlier today, it was funny, I was talking to my friend Rich, and he was like, he has my vlogs on in the background sometimes when he's doing stuff, and he was like talking about the part where I was like getting attached to like the hotel room. He's like, you really get attached to stuff. I don't know if it's so much that I get attached to stuff as I have a hard time with endings. Sometimes we were kind of talking about it, and you know, it's weird, and it's like, And he was talking about being attached to like his family home, and I was like, I was attached to my family home too, so I totally understand that, you know, we were talking about that. But you know what's interesting is like, tonight I was gonna live stream and Alex was going to sleep, and so I couldn't do it downstairs because I didn't want to keep him up, you know? And so I said, I want to live stream, but I don't know that I want to go outside because like the crickets are loud, there's mosquitoes out there and stuff like that. And he goes, well, why don't you go down in the basement? And I was like, oh my God. Like, and I immediately thought back to when I was like live streaming last winter. And I was like, I cannot believe that we're almost like at a point to where it's time to live stream in the basement again. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe we're there. And that, you know, spring and summer have come and gone. And we're back to where we were a year ago with like, it seems bizarre to me. And I wouldn't say necessarily, when I look at it like that, it seems like time goes very quickly, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like time goes really quickly. Like as I'm saying this, I'm thinking back at like the beginning of summer when I said, I want to do this summer, I want to do this summer. Well, I didn't necessarily do everything I wanted to do this summer, but I did a lot. We did a lot. We did a lot of traveling this summer, you know? We went to Dominican Republic, we went to Connecticut, we went to Las Vegas. We did a lot of traveling. We saw our friends a lot. We hung out with family a lot, you know? We had a good summer. But you know, I look back and it's like, well, I wasn't on the patio that often, and I got the patio furniture, but I mean, we can still do that this fall and stuff like that. I'm not sad about it, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, sometimes when I look at that stuff, I get sad about it, and I'm like, well, summer's over, you know, oh, well, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I try not to look at my life like that anymore, but like what I didn't do, I try to look at it as like what I did do. And we had a good summer. I don't know, and like, you know, the other thing is that like Alex and I are so connected now that it's like, it's not so much just a summer as it, I don't know how to explain this, I really don't, but it just feels like our life ongoing. And so, you know, and I also think that like I was really worried about PP and his health, which I still am, but like he's been really good most of the summer. Like, he had a really good summer. He got to go outside a lot. But I also know that like last year in like fall and winter and spring, it was easier for him to breathe. You know, it wasn't hot outside. I mean, he really had a hard time sometimes this summer breathing, even though I would like put those little ice things, the cooling gels that I was sent around his neck. He still had a hard time. You know, sometimes when it got really hot outside, and I wouldn't let him stay outside at all because of that. Other than like, you know, 5 minutes. So it was a good summer. And we're gonna have a good fall. I'm excited about fall. I sometimes wish I had the money to like travel like every 5 weeks, like to go somewhere. And then I would have like something, oh, it's gonna stop. Hold on, I'll be right back. To travel like every, you know, 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, who wouldn't, right? But then I would have something to kind of like big deal to look forward to, even if it was only like 4 or 5 days, you know, of getting out of town. Like Vegas, 5 days in Vegas was enough. Like, that was enough. The thing is that that trip ended up being so expensive. Not being in Vegas was expensive, and I paid off the whole trip before we left, which was nice, but you know, it was an expensive trip for us. Alex has an easier time spending money on stuff like that. I think because he knows the importance of it, whereas for me, like, I have a harder time spending money on stuff like that, if that makes sense. Like, you know, Alex is we're both very good with like saving our money for the future, but like at the same time, Alex is like, you know, you can't take it with you, very, very much that attitude. And he's like, you know, there's no reason to just sit here and sit on it forever when we can go out of town and have an experience together and enjoy like a weekend away, you know? So, I don't know. I don't know what our next trip's gonna be. I was looking online. It's really cheap to go places right now. So we'll have to look and see. I might surprise him. Or he might surprise me. Who knows? I'd really like to go back to Unico in Mexico. And actually, Renee, who watches my videos, just sent me a bunch of pictures from there of the beach. I'd really like to go to Grand Cayman or somewhere like that, that neither one of us has ever been to before. But man, you're talking about some money on that kind of stuff. We'll see. Do you guys have any exciting plans for fall and winter? If we go to San Diego for, well, I guess we are going to San Diego for Christmas. That will be the first time that I've gone out of town for Christmas in 10 years. Because my mom and I used to always get, is anything open? I'm trying to think if anything is open. I think Steak and Shake is open. My mom and I used to get a cabin in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I know that McDonald's is closed, which is really what I want. I really don't want Steak and Shake, but I wish I had $1. If I had a hammer, I'd a hammer. You guys know that song? Do you know that song by the Bare Naked Ladies? I wish I had $1 million. How's that song go? I can't remember. My mom and I used to sing that song all the time together. I don't remember. If I had $1 million. That song. I love that song. We actually sang that the last Christmas that we were in Gatlinburg when we were driving up the mountain to go to Cherokee. We drove the mountain over Cherokee National Forest to Cherokee to go gambling on Christmas Eve. And we were singing Rod Stewart, and we were singing Bare Naked Ladies. Seems so weird to think that was 10 years ago. This town shuts down so early. McDonald's you can get, I'm gonna go to McDonald's, I'm not going to Steak and Shake, because McDonald's you can get like, I think it's $1.08 or $1.09 for a large Diet Coke, but if I go to Steak and Shake, it'll be like $2.50 for like a medium or something. And I love Steak and Shake, don't get me wrong, but I mean that's a lot of money for a Diet Coke. That's like more than a 2-liter. So I'm in this city north of Indianapolis called Noblesville. It's really cute. Here, I'll show you. This is the square right here. You can see. I will show you. See? Isn't it cute? And there's like a whole like city square here. Just this little town. Middle of America. And this is actually where I go to a lot of 12-step meetings, is Noblesville. And there's really cute houses through here and stuff. But anyway, at any given time, driving through, here's the city court building right here. At any given time that you're driving through Noblesville, you literally pass about 15 police officers. And they drive these SUVs, these huge SUVs that are beautiful. every time I touch that camera, it's sticky on the bottom because the thing has melted. That, like, I get that stuff all over my hands, and then I have to put, and then after that, I want to put the chapstick on. I mean, you know how I do now. Come on, guys. So I don't really use my office anymore except for writing. Like, that's the only reason I use it. And so Alex and I have been talking a lot about what I want to do with my office. And I have I mean, I love my office, okay? It's like right in the heart of this area of Indianapolis that's real artsy. I don't want to really give it up because I'm on like a fixed rate, so I won't be able to ever get it back for a fixed rate, if that makes sense again. So I don't want to give it up, but at the same, and it's not super expensive, but at the same time, it's like, there's not really any reason for me to have it, you know what I mean? And, like all of our business stuff, we now do from home. I'm not in practice anymore, you know, so the other business stuff that I do it all from home, you know, so it's like, there's no reason for me to have it except for that I write there sometimes. And, so Alex and I were talking because there are, if you've seen my videos in my office, there are rooms that I could literally turn into like a went that a little early, into like a YouTube studio. Like I could have a studio and then I could go there and I could film at like, let's say at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. But the thing is, I have no Wi-Fi there, and then I could come home and upload it and whatever, like when Alex is asleep, if that makes sense, and then I could have the next day to do whatever I want. Or I could go there, I write there sometimes if I can't sleep late at night, or I get up and I go in there and I write, you know, that's like pretty typical. But lately I've been writing from home, so I don't really know what to do with it. And like I've kind of decided that like I need to start thinking about maybe like at the beginning of the year getting rid of it. Like I talked to my landlord and he was like, well, what do you want to do with it? And I was like, I don't really know. Like, you know, I mean, it's not so expensive that like, it's not costing me anything. I mean, it's costing me something to keep right now, but like the utilities are super cheap. The office I got, you know, a long time, 10 years ago on a fixed rate, so it's not super expensive, and I love having it, but at the same time, it's like, why do I have it? And, so, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but today, like, I went in there after I had coffee with my friend, and, I was just kind of looking around, and I have all these meditation books in there, and I brought them home, and it was so weird. Okay, all I did was bring home 4 meditation books, and you would have thought I, like, moved the whole office. I was like, oh my God, I'm leaving my office. It was so weird. It was so weird. And this is not my first office. Like, I had another office before, and, that my mom and my ex helped me move into, and it was a totally different building. And that building that I was in before was like this adorable building. It had 3 offices in it. We all shared like a waiting area space, and it had a bathroom and stuff. And I was in the front office, and then I moved it to the back office when the other person that was there left. And I really had a hard time moving out of that office. Like, I just really didn't want to move out of that office, and it was kind of like the end of an era for me. Well, that's kind of how I feel about this office a little bit, you know? So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. My arm is so dark. Yeah, I don't really know what I want to do with it. It's weird. It's like really weird, you know? I like having a place to go to write, but it doesn't feel any different to me than writing at home. And the other thing that's weird is, like, since I've been writing like these stories of my childhood, like I'll go downstairs in the basement and I'll like pull out the scrapbooks and I'll like start looking through them, and they kind of trigger my mind. And when I'm in my office, I don't have that. So I find myself writing my fiction book when I'm at my office. I don't know. Alex is like, why don't you just keep it? He was like, you know, it's like not breaking us financially. So, who knows? But then I also think, you know, it's like, I kind of want to consolidate my life. Do you ever feel like that? Like you want to have less of things? Like you don't want to have like, I just don't need a bunch of shit anymore, you know? It's like, I need to go through my closet and clean out my closet. I need to clean out the basement, you know? It's just like, I want to consolidate and not have a lot of stuff. I don't need stuff. It's like, did you guys watch that documentary on Netflix called Minimalist? It's like, do you ever feel like that? Like, I just don't want a lot of stuff anymore. I don't need a lot of space. I just, you know, I used to back in the day, like, we would go to somebody's house and it would be like 12,000 square feet, and I would be like, oh my god, with a pool and yard, and I'd be like, I would love to have this house. Oh my god, this house is beautiful. Now, sure, it's a beautiful house, right? We don't need 12,000 square feet. My god, we have like 1,500 square feet, and that's more than we need. You know what I mean? We don't need a lot of space, and I think as I've gotten older, I've realized that. Like, I just don't need a lot of space. I mean, we have very little space, and we're fine, you know? We're completely fine. And so, what I need more of is less shit. I need to get rid of my shit that I have, you know? And, you know, Melissa does this fundraiser every year for dog rescue, and they, like, collect shoes for people that don't have shoes in the winter. And I need to go through all my shoes, because, I mean, I probably have currently, I mean, some ridiculous amount of shoes, and I don't even wear them, you know? And so, like, I've got to get those together and give those to her, and clean out my closet. And stuff that doesn't fit, maybe I just need to get rid of. I always think I'm going to fit in it eventually, but maybe I just need to get rid of it. Alex is really good about that. Like, he'll go through the clothes and, like, stuff that he hasn't worn in, like, a year or two, like, he'll literally get rid of it and bag it, and then he'll give it to, like, his cousins, or, you know, take it to Goodwill or something like that. Like, Alex is fantastic with that. Like, if he literally has not worn it in a year or two, he gets rid of it. And so his side of the closet, even though it's packed, is, like, all stuff that he's worn in the last 2 years. I have stuff in that closet that I have probably not put on my back in 10 years. I mean, true story. And I wouldn't say that I'm a hoarder entirely, but I do have a hard time getting rid of stuff, because it's not that I think sometime I'll wear it again. It's that I have sat there in my head before and been like, where were those shoes that I wore 15 years ago? I want them. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I threw them out. You know what I mean? It's like, when I moved from my apartment, I threw out all of these shoes. I threw out Doc Martens, just, like, took them to Goodwill and got rid of them because I hadn't worn them in forever, you know? And now I'm like, God, I wish I hadn't thrown those away. Those were Doc Martens I got in London, you know? I had great, like, just really cool coats and stuff that I just hadn't worn in a year or two. But you know, you tend to change. And what I'd really like to do is get those racks for the basement. Once I get the basement cleaned out, this is my dream, is to get the basement cleaned out, and then to the left, when we walk into our basement, we have, like, all this area where there are boxes right now. But if it was empty, we could have racks down there, and one rack could be, like, all of our coats, then one rack could be, like, summer shirts, you know what I mean? And so we could have, like, a little mini closet down in the basement. And then I wouldn't have to get rid of everything, but I could still get rid of stuff, you know what I mean? I really would like to do that. I like doing laundry. I like folding laundry. I like ironing clothes. I mean, I enjoy that stuff. When I'm thinner, I like putting outfits together. I'm really into fashion, but I haven't been thin in so long that I'm just used to a good, I mean, like, I've been on YouTube for 2 years, and I don't think anybody's ever seen me on YouTube in anything kind of cute. You know what I mean? It's like a Target t-shirt and a pair of shorts on a daily basis, period. That's it. And so it's like real hard to get real excited about a Target t-shirt and a pair of shorts. You know what I mean? But there's part of me that doesn't care, but then I look in my closet and I'm like, I miss getting dressed up and looking cute. You know? Being overweight sucks for that reason. It's like somebody asked me on this Instagram thing, I did this thing the other day where it was like these questions, and somebody said, like, what's the hardest thing about staying on a diet? And I said, starting it. Like, I mean, that has been the hardest thing for me, you know? It's like, I struggle so hard with the diet thing. I think people don't understand, and I know it's not a fad diet. I know it's not about doing a diet. I know it's about lifestyle change. I know it's about eating healthier and being more active. Trust me, I understand that. I know all of that. I know I need to do all that kind of stuff. But I just, you guys, I really struggle with it, you know? Like, I really struggle. You know, it's like Alex being out of town this weekend and me wanting to be real homey and light, you know, like candles, like, you know, a fall scents around the house and all this kind of stuff. And food goes along with that for me. And I don't know why. I don't know why my association with comfort is food. But it always has been. And I did kind of grow up in an environment where food was comfort. I mean, you know, like, I would come home from school in the fall and my mom would have, like, stew. She made stew a lot, you know, or meatloaf, or which I hated, but now I love. When I'm not a vegetarian, I love meatloaf. Or chili. My mom made great chili, so she'd have chili and garlic bread, and you know, the whole house always smelled like food in the kitchen. The kitchen was the centerpiece of our house, you know. It was where everything happened. And so to some degree, I think, you know, my mom was a crock potter. I don't know if you grew up in a crock pot generation, but when you grow up like with crock pots, you smell it in the whole house, you know? And there's something about the smell of food in a house, to me, that is comfort. And as crazy as that sounds, like, you know, vegetable soup and stews and chili and, you know, all kinds of things. You know, in the winter, my mom would put in a crock pot, she would put, like, you know, what do you call it? Like apple cider with, like, cinnamon sticks and stuff like that. You know, the whole house smelled like that. And, so I don't know. And, like, baking breads. And it just, like, the house just always smelled like food. And you know, when you walked in, like, literally, the way the house was built, the kitchen was the focal point. It was the centerpiece of the house. I think a lot of people's houses are like that. And so I think that homes were built around food. You know, hearth was built around eating and food making. And when you look at a lot of cultures, you know, like at Alex's house, you know, like when they cook, it's always like Alex's mom and grandma and Liliana, and they're in the kitchen, and they're like, it's like this practice for them to, you know, cook cachapas or, you know, empanadas or, you know, arepas or whatever. And they're like, there's a process to it, and they get excited about it, and, you know, and one of them's, you know, whipping this up, and the other one's doing that, and they enjoy that time together, that camaraderie. And so food is comfort with families as well. And I don't know, as a bonding time when I was growing up, we always sat at a kitchen table and had a dinner, always, you know, after school. And, you know, I can remember my mom and I with this little TV on the end of the table, and we would sit there, and, you know, she always had a salad, a little side salad, and we would have like I would have a glass of milk too. That was always, I used to always want water, because my mom would drink ice water, and she'd say, no, you need to drink a glass of milk so you don't get osteoporosis. And your bones, do you remember all that? Our parents would tell us. Do kids still drink milk? I don't know. But anyway, you know, and she would, you know, we would sit there, and she'd say, okay, we're going to talk about school for 15 minutes, and then we can turn the TV on. So we would talk about school for 10 or 15 minutes. I can't remember how long. But then we would turn the TV on, and it was Little House on the Prairie, you know, na, 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 na. So it's like, you know, na, 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 na. We loved that. We watched it every night. And Little House on the Prairie is a lot about food, you know, and them eating in the kitchen, Mom making kitchen, you know, food in the kitchen. You know, Laura and, what was her name? Laura and, I can't think of her sister's name. Mary, you know, upstairs, you know, getting ready for bed while Ma and Paul are downstairs, you know, and stuff's cooking and whatever. You know, I mean, like, I don't know, like, food always seems so homey to me. So I struggle with it even today. It's like, I don't know. I was thinking about today that, like, I haven't had an ice cream sundae all summer. And my mom, she used to make the most incredible ice cream sundaes. And they weren't expensive. She would get like, you know, vanilla ice cream and just like some cheap ice cream. This guy does not obviously realize that he's in a turn lane. And then she would get like the chocolate syrup. And then she would get, I can't remember what else, but she would get like those Spanish peanuts. You know what I'm talking about? They have like the little like kernels on them or whatever. And then she would make these hot fudge sundaes. She would like put the hot fudge like in a thing and then like heat it up in the microwave, and then we would put it like over our ice cream, and it was so delicious. And we would sit there, and I can remember eating those and like drinking like when it would like melt at the bottom. And I like missed that, and I was like, I'm getting stuff to make my mom's hot fudge sundaes this weekend. And I didn't, because I was like, oh, but I got cinnamon rolls and I don't need that, you know? But I may still do that. He got 2 McChickens. If you ever like to see what people order. Where is the lid to my...
Hey, how may I help you?
Can I get a large Diet Coke, please?
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alright, 108.
I found the cap to my hand sanitizer. I found the cap to my hand sanitizer. Well, aren't you fresh? I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way about food? But, you know, at the same time, like, my mom also always had very healthy snacks in the house. I mean, she just, and my mom was never heavy, never. I mean, she had periods where she was a little heavier than others, but she was never heavy. And, you know, like, most of the time when I was growing up, she had vegetables and vinegar in the refrigerator. Like, she would have, like, cucumbers cut up in vinegar as a snack. Or, we always had fresh fruit in the house, you know, apples. And my mom always did weird combinations. And she would put, like, my mom would eat an apple and put salt on it, which is delicious. I know it sounds weird. So, you know, she always had fresh fruit. She always had vegetables around. I always had to eat a vegetable with my meal. You know, as I got older, like, she changed a lot of what she cooked. Like, because, you know, she would do spaghetti a lot, and she would make, like, whole wheat spaghetti, which was nasty, or vegetarian lasagna. She made a really good vegetarian lasagna. A bean chili that had no meat in it, things like that. So she was very conscious of that. God, have I really gone that long so far already? But anyway, it wasn't like, it just stopped on its own. It wasn't like we just ate crap all the time, because that just wasn't the case. But food represented home. I'm looking right over here at Cracker Barrel, and I'm thinking, God, I want to go in there right now and get some hash brown casserole. It's closed, but... Does anybody else relate to what I'm saying, you know? And at my dad's house, it was very similar, you know? Like we would sit down and have a dinner every night. Like, I remember later I asked him, because he had like this chopping board table. I don't know what those are called. The wood, you know, the wood tables that you can get at anywhere. My mom had one too in her kitchen, but he had one. And I said something to him. I said, you know, it's so weird that you have that table like in your apartment. Like, did you sit there and eat dinner? He goes, I got that for you so that when you came over, we could sit down and actually have like a dinner at a dinner table. I think that's important for families to do that. My parents were really big on that. You know, that we would sit at a dinner table every night and have dinner and put the napkin in your lap and, you know, say please and say thank you and can you pass this, and have conversations with each other and talk about what had happened that day. And like, my parents were really big on that. And, you know, like, as much as like I made poor choices in my life, my drugs and alcohol stuff was because I think I was genetically programmed to be an addict and an alcoholic. But I think that a lot of who I am today comes from things like that, you know, like calling my neighbors Mr. and Mrs. and sitting down and having dinners with, you know, the neighbor, or with my mom and my dad, and, you know, having a friend over, and, you know, a friend, it was like a special treat if a friend got to come for dinner. Do you remember that, like those days? It's not like that anymore. It's so strange. go.
Here you go.
Oh, you got it all ready for me. Thank you.
No problem. You have a nice
Hey,
day.
you too.
Thank you.
So, you know, it's a different generation now, but I don't know. It's like that song Both Sides Now, something's lost and something's gained. I mean, I think there's something to be said for the way that the world used to be, but I also think there's something to be said for how the world is now too. You know. You know, I have so many friends of mine. Oh, it tastes so good. If there is a heaven, it has free-flowing diet Coke from McDonald's. But if, you know, most of my friends now that live in neighborhoods and have kids, like, they, like, once a week or whatever, like, my cousin Caroline, they hang out with neighbors all the time. Like, her friends are her neighbors. Like, that wasn't necessarily the case when I grew up. Like, we knew our neighbors, and my mom might have had, like, 1 or 2 friends from the neighborhood, but, like, it wasn't like the neighborhood always hung out unless it was like a block party. Do you remember block parties? I always used to my mom would always want to go to the block party, and I would always get so nervous, and I would stay home, and then I would get so upset that I didn't go. But like, I now know, looking back, that that's my social anxiety. I mean, I wish I had known what social anxiety was back then, and I knew how to like work through some of that stuff, because man, social anxiety has made me miss out on a lot of shit in life. It really has. And I know that it sounds like some pissy excuse, but it really isn't. I mean, when you're sitting there and you want to go do something and participate in it, and fear just riddles through your body of what will people say about you, or, you know, like, you won't fit in, or, you know what I mean? And especially when you've had situations like I was telling about the end of the year tennis party, and I had nobody to talk to. I mean, especially when you have that fear, and then the fear is realized, and like, you get to something, and it's the fear you had is exactly what happens. You know, it's really hard. And social anxiety is no joke, and it's crippling sometimes. It has been crippling to me. The only reason I don't allow it to stop me in my tracks today, because I think that the one thing that people don't understand is I could very easily get on camera, because it feels so distant to me sometimes, but I could very easily get on camera and film all of my videos and publish them, but, you know, put them up, but be a recluse otherwise, because I feel like I'm talking to a camera, and whenever I'm talking to the camera, I literally feel like I'm talking to one person. I don't feel like I'm talking to a number of people. I feel like I'm talking to one person. I can talk to any one person, any one of my friends, any one of you, I could talk to one-on-one. It's when it becomes more than that I feel overwhelmed. And it was interesting, I don't want to get into the conversation, but Shane Dawson said something similar to me. And, you know, I can remember back in the day with like the block parties, we would have one like at the end of the summer every year. And my mom would be real excited about it, because they were going to play the music real loud and dance in the cul-de-sac and stuff, which was literally right in front of our house. And she'd say, come on, honey, you'll love it. You'll have fun. All your friends will be there. And any other day of the week, it would have just been my friends I would have been playing with. You know, I'd say, no, I don't want to go. You go. Tell them I don't feel well. And I would sit in my mom's bedroom window, because she had 2 bedroom windows that looked out over the cul-de-sac. And I would sit there, and I would kind of like sit in the corner by the wall, and I would like look out at the party happening on the street. But I couldn't make myself go out, you know, I couldn't do it. I was too afraid. And I lived kind of in that fear and in the shadows for a very, very long time, you know, in school. And honestly, I can't blame it just on bullying, because it wasn't just on bullying. And the thing is that they kind of counteract each other. Because if I didn't have social anxiety, I think I always had social anxiety. Do I think that it was kind of induced by bullying? Yeah, sure, I think so, a little bit. But I also think, like, I had it before then, partly. I don't know, you know, But I missed out on a lot of shit in my life because of social anxiety and fear. And I'm just not willing to do that today. And you know, drinking allowed me to not be afraid anymore. I mean, I could drink and then not be afraid anymore about what people had to say about me or if I was going to go to something. So, I mean, I would drink or use and go to a party, and I mean, I was center of attention. People thought I was so fun and so funny until I wasn't anymore, you know, until I was a mess, and then people had to take care of me. But I'm not willing to allow social anxiety and fear to keep me stuck today and not enjoy my life. I missed out on way too many things, you know. I wish I would have tried out for plays in high school. I wish I would have gone to some pep rallies or some dances, you know, and I didn't not go because of fear. I went because I thought it was corny. But my attitude's a little different about that stuff today. I feel a little bit more like I wish I would have just participated in my own life to some degree. The only person that really missed out was me. And, you know, that's why I think today when I have ideas about stuff, I start them. And I don't question it. And people want to dog me for it. But, like, I'm not going to miss out on anything else. If I have an idea for something, I'm going to do it because I get excited about it. And I'm not going to feel bad about that. I'm not going to feel stupid. And neither should you. You know, we only have one life. Try the things you want to try. Some are going to be successful. Some of them aren't. You know, show up to stuff. Participate. Because you don't know who you'll meet. You don't know that you might be missing the opportunity to meet your next best friend. You know, or that you might walk into an opportunity that you never expected, you know? You never know what's going to happen. So you have to open positive or negative. So you have to prepare yourself for the worst, but you know, prepare yourself for the best too. Life has a lot of delights out there waiting for us. And there's a lot of really great things that are going to happen as a result of just living, you know, and participating. And I want that. I deserve that today. And so do you. You know, you deserve that as well. And I think that we've got to stop letting fear keep us stuck. I'm not willing to do that anymore. So, anyway, all right, you guys, I'm going to get off here so I can listen to little Harry Potter, the Chamber of Secrets. And thank God it's Friday. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow for PP and Peter Special Weekend. Bye.